With the help of Hashem, I want to talk about the beginning of Parashas Ki Sisa. Ki Sisa. The Torah is teaching us a very important yesod, which I want to speak about. Torah says as follows. Rosh Bnei Israel. When you count the heads of the children of Israel, lefkudehem, to their numbers, venosnu ish kofer nafsho, everyone should give a redemption or an exchange for the soul, or kofer means ransom for the soul to Hashem bifkoidosom. Velo yeh bohem negev bifkoidosom. Wouldn't be a plague. Negev is a plague when you count them. So Rashi brings down the story of David and Shaul in Shmuel HaNavi. And he says, Sha'aminyon shoylet boy Ayin HaRa. When you have numbers, the Ayin HaRa, the bad eye, evil eye, controls it. Va'adevel ba'alim, and the plague comes on them. Like we found in the days of David HaMelech counted the Jewish people, and they had a plague. So we see from this, to remove a negative, to remove a plague, to remove, I would say, Ayin HaRa, bad eye, you don't count. When we want to count the Jewish people, what do? You count the Yamaka. You say, Oshia Itamech Havarana Adonai Nesem Adolam. Or you say, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam HaMotzi Lechem Min HaAretz, which is 10 words. You find, you count the keepers, the hat, the clothing, you don't count them. You count the donations they give. We don't count the people. Because Sha'aminyon, when you have a number, Shoylet Ba'ayin HaRa controls it. The Gemara in Masechet Bometzia says, Abol lo mudas goynoi. One wants to measure how much blessings of grains, wheat. He had this year. He wants to measure his barn, how much grain he has in it. So it says before he counts, he could say Yirotzoin, that will be a bracha in this barn, in this goyre. But once he counts, finish. He cannot say the Yirotzoin. Because en ha-bracha sholetes bedover sheleminyon tzoru chotum. If it's counted, if it's wrapped up, if it's sealed, there's no minyan. Toises asks, what do you mean opposite? Toises Mometzi asks that the shading demons have the power to take only with something which is not counted and not sealed and not wrapped up. So what do you say? The blessing is only when it's not count. Adarabe, the blessing is not count, but the demons can steal. Because once it's count, the demon cannot control it anymore. So Tosha says that as much the demons take, bracha is more. That's what Tosha says. So if you don't count, you have a bracha. When you count, the bracha stops. And Rashi brings down even more. Shoyle ba'ayin HaRa, Ayin HaRa controls it. Now the Chazonish, in the end of Masechet Brachos, he deals there. There's a big saying of people that say, Ayin HaRa depends if you makpid. If you makpid, Ayin HaRa controls you. Where they got it from? The Gemara says on Zugois. The Gemara Pesachim says Zugois means to count through doubles 2, 4, 6 doubles, there's danger. There's a shading demons, mazikim of zugos. And the Gemara concludes that if you're makpid on zugos, a person is careful, he gets damage. But if you're not careful on zugos, you don't get damage. So when people want to adopt this concept, they want to say also Ayin HaRa. Ayin HaRa, if you're not makpid Ayin HaRa, it doesn't control you. Yes.
Our Prime says it only affects you if you think it affects you. And he was asked if he thought Ayin HaRa affects him, and he said no. So
where does it say that? Where does it say that?
Somebody asked him.
Where is it written? Show me. It's impossible. He said it because the Chazon Ish's uncle said opposite, and he will never argue at his uncle, Chazon Ish.
I can't remember it.
Okay, he says search for it. We'll see. מי, הכהן מווילנה? לא, הוא אומר אחרי הגר"א פוטוצקי. No, he said something else. The Mishtabura, there is a Mishtabura of Rabbi Nevin, so he brings it below. He says after the graph Pototsky, the tumor on things that overnight. There the tumor went away. The klipa of the tumor of things overnight, that went away. Yeah, but not Zugas. Okay. But the Chazon Ish says that Ayin HaRa is something which is natural. Certain people have stronger eye, and if they look at a person and they complain, it affects the person. He explains what's the concept of Ayin HaRa. The concept of Ayin HaRa, he says, it's like a person is being judged once a year. That's the halacha, once a year. But if people file a complaint about someone, so they check right away. If I call the city hall, hey, my neighbor's building, he's doing this, that, the city hall come and they check you. Most people, when you come and being checked unprepared, you get damage. That's the concept of Ayin HaRa. Ayin HaRa means when you do something which is wonder to people, says, wow, look, this guy became a millionaire, look at his car, look at this. So you point your eye, it's not an eye, it means a complaint to Hashem, and basically it causes the system in heaven to recheck this person that really deserves to get what he needs to get. And most people are not ready to be checked again, and they get damaged. So that's why he says more than that. He says, he goes back and forth, he brings Gemaras of the Gemara in Gittin, that there was a big mazik, and this rabbi they came to town, they told him to live in the synagogue because he knew he can damage the mazik, the damage cannot damage him. And he goes back and forth if Ayin HaRa is something real or not, and he concludes, Ayin HaRa, it's something physical what Hashem created in the world. It's a spiritual, physical thing that Hashem created in the world, and certain people have a bigger way, the big Ayin HaRa. Most people which are very depressed and very down in their life, you have to be careful on the Ayin HaRa. Why? Because they always complain to Hashem. Hey, why this guy? And they're saying they basically pledge injustice. It's not just this guy, and they get hurt first. It says anyone that brings a judgment on his friend, he's being judged first. And they become more depressed and more trouble. And the life will become more trouble. If you have a bad eye, you yourself get stronger judgment. But still, because you're unsatisfied and depressed person, and you always finally complain on people, what can they do? When a complaint comes to the city hall, there's rules. They have to recheck the person. And when a person rechecked, most people cannot hold in the check and they fail. Yes?
I was wondering, probably a person should not count trying to use the alphabet to count.
No. Alphabet you could, because alphabet is also number. Is the alpha, is not the person. But people don't do that. People count through psukim, or they count keepers.
Yeah, you might have 30, 40,
right.
50, 70.
And this is only an example. It's not only counting people, it's also counting your money. Yes. And your assets and your blessings.
Something about wearing red clothing, is that because of dinim or because of Ayin HaRa?
No, red clothing is different. The Gemara says in Masechet Brochos that this woman wore red clothing, and Rabbi Meir ripped it off of her. He thought she was Jewish. He and he found that she's a kusish, and he paid her 200 zuz. Matun arba zuz. He gave her double 200 zuz. Her name was Matan, 200, and he gave her double 400, two times 200, because she was a kuti. She was allowed to read it, and the Oruch says from this, Mikan shebnoi Yisrael, they don't wear red clothes because it's flashy. Women, but it's only women, not men. All the rest of the red thing, red on there, is this bakapuka. It's not real. And I know is something real. I know that something real is on your money, on your assets, on your children, on your family. And the concept of I know is that since you have something which is people wondered, they basically complain and say, wow, what's the wow? He doesn't deserve it. Now people have a good eye, says, wow, let him have a lot. They say good words, okay. But if they're bad eye, they're basically sending a complaint to Hashem, although they will be judged first, they'll be heard first. But it doesn't matter. The person will get hurt. So you have to be very careful from Ayin HaRa. It says if you're from the grandchildren of Yosef HaTzadik, so then, and I know because since Yosef HaTzadik, he worked on the Yesoid, he held himself in the Yesoid not to do sin. So that's why, and not to look at the girls when they were watching him. When he became a king, all the girls went on the walls of Egypt to watch him. He didn't pick up his eyes. So Hashem paid them measure for measure. Ben Porat Yosef, Ben Porat Ale'ayin, which means Atikre Ale'ayin Ela Ole'ayin, which is above an eye. An eye cannot control the descendants of Yosef. But we are descendants of Judah. So we have to be very careful, or mixed, but it doesn't matter, but your descendants mainly of Judah.
Yosef has to be father or even mother?
Even mother, probably. But Lemai says, since we know who we are, we tell most of the Jews are Yosef, and we have Ruba the Ruba, which is not Yosef. You have to worry for Ayin HaRa, and you have to be very careful. What do you want to say?
I heard from Makubal that people that are born in Adar, it's the sign of Dagim. So
under the yeah, but it's only Makubal words, not real. The Gemara says, I know you have to be very careful.
What happened when you don't have nothing?
Shoyle controls.
Means he himself did not do nothing.
Right.
I know in the world.
Right.
What happened when I used to have a lot of headache pain,
No.
but I don't have nothing. I'm poor. I don't have toilet. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have kids.
But you have mind, you have a seichel. A lot of people want things which somebody else has if he splashes out. If you don't splash out, so that's you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful not to put something in people's eyes that is a wonder. Wow. You have to be very careful. Very careful. I know, one second, I want to mention something. Yes. The Gemara says, and also the Chazon Ish brings down, that certain people are more connected to put this physical, spiritual damage of Ayin HaRa. They say Yemenites. You know who's a Yemenite? We have a Yemenite. Matuv and Daniel. They say Yemenite, in general, I don't know if it's a true statement, but that's what people say, they have a very strong power of putting Ayin HaRa on people. It's to do with the neshamas, how and the connection, how they can. But according to the Chazon Ish, any person which is down and out and depressed, he's always complaining. He can complain on any person. Doesn't matter who you are. But certain people, what Hashem created in the world, have more koyach, spiritual koyach, which is physical spiritual, can damage other people through Ayin HaRa. And you have to be very careful. If you damage others, you get damaged first. Now.
A guy came to a statement and he
Yes. That's exactly what I want to say. This is my goal. 1 second.
He said to him, listen,
No, that's not my goal. It's a little bit twist I want to say. So people, because of that, I want to explain. Yes, what do you want to say? Against what?
A person's depressed, but he doesn't make kindness against others.
It's good. It's good. He's depressed because he has a problem. But it's not because Hashem punished him as a punishment. According to this, if you complain on others, you get punished first. But those that you complain on, if they're not ready, or they're not really have justified to get their wealth or blessings or whatever they got, that you have complain about them, they will lose it, will get damaged.
An example of what the Rebbe says, like you say all the time, about big mouth, unsatisfied women all the time.
Right. Right. Those women, you have to be very careful from them. The unsatisfied and big mouth, self-centered, egotistical women, they have to be very careful from them. They always complain about people, and they feel can be even family members. You can have a family member. He feels there's not justice. You have a lot of money. What about me? You're spending money about to this son and that son, even to your parents or parents to the kids. Even parents to the kids can bring Ayin HaRa. My father used to explain it all the time. You have to be very careful. You cannot makpid on your kids. More than that, Rabbeinu Bechaya says that parents have very strong power over the kids. And if they bless the kids with full heart, the bracha for sure will come. And also opposite. If they have complaints, and a lot of times parents have problems with their kids because the kids don't follow fully what they want to do. So they have tremendous bitterness on them in their hearts, a certain bitterness. You have to be very careful because you can bring, it's like Ayin HaRa, bring judgment on the kids and get damaged. Mamish, this is kepshutai. You have to be very careful. Especially if you don't think Ayin HaRa and complain is only moiser din al chaveiroi, it's only by somebody else. It can be even family members. You pair a child to his parents. My parents don't have money. They go to trips. They this, and I'm here stuck with no money. Feel bad or opposite. Parents feel my son is rich, and we old people not being taken care of. And I saw he made a wedding for $100,000, and now he can't give me $2,000 a month to take care of myself. Listen, you have complaints, and those complaints like it can damage a child if he's not worthy. It doesn't have a special reason, Hashem, or his journey of his life. Hashem makes his own judgment. But when you have a complaint, when the IRS come to check your papers unprepared, 99.9 people would fail, right? You have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. So what my message is this. It's not what I just said now. I want to twist it.
How we protect us?
Oh, that's the point. So how the person is being protected? And this is really two things. That's what the Torah says. Ve'nosnu ish kofer nafshoi. Hashem says, how do you protect from Ayin HaRa? You need to count the Jewish people. You need to know the numbers. Is you give kofer, you give ransom. Tzedakah. Tzedakah tatzil mimoves. If a person takes care of converts, it's take care of poor Jews, he takes care of people which are miskenim, cannot functional people, and he lifts them. He does tzedakah, he gives ransom, he does tzedakah, he's been protected. All the Ayin HaRa people can give on him is sealed. Why? Because since he's a person that goes in the world of rachamim, of mercy, of justice, of tzedek, so then there's no deen. Deen doesn't apply to him because he's a person of not deen. He's a person of lifnim mishur hasadin. He's a person of tzedakah. A person which is chesed and tzedakah, no Ayin HaRa can catch him. So, and that's the point. You can't go around and be afraid every day of Ayin HaRa. You can't flash your blessings. You have a blessing, don't flash it. But because of that, you can't go like a miskin and rip clothes and go like this and bend to this and that and show no. Whatever Hashem gave you a bracha, be happy with it. Don't flash it, but do chesed, do tzedakah with it. And the more you do tzedakah with it or without it, the more chesed and tzedakah you do, you've been protected. You're not going to be hurt. And that's what the Torah says. I'll tell the Jewish people, I'm going to count you. To count the numbers. Every Jew will give a kofer. Kofer what means? Kofer means ransom. No, definitely through money, but it's ransom. Ransom because when you give tzedakah money, and this money will go to build the Beis Hamikdash, goes to korbanos, whatever good things. So then we'll protect you. And this is really up to do.
Only Hashem knows how much.
Only Hashem knows that, but you have to.
Because the Gemara says that the daughter of Kabbas or whatever, she was taking from the Se'oim.
Right.
And Rabbi Yochanan says, how did you get to that thing? And
He didn't give enough.
He said because he didn't give enough.
Right. Even though this Kabbas will give a lot of charity, and every person which was hungry like a dog came out of his house, savea, satisfied, that's called Kalba Savua. And his daughter got hurt in the time of the Romans when they made a siege on Yerushalayim. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai has a possible. He said, she answered because my father didn't give enough according to what he had. According to what he had, he didn't give enough. Let's say a person has $1 million, okay? How much he needs to give tzedakah?
10%.
10%.
20%
is ashirus, but minimum 10%. A guy gives $50,000. Wow! Whoa! He's 60. Whoa! He gave so much money, but he was able to give 100, or he was supposed to give 100. That's he didn't give according to what he needs to give, or what he's capable to give.
And if he gives too much is also.
If he gives too much is also no good. You have to give the proper measurement. But if a person doesn't give enough, will be hurt. So only Hashem, you have to break the right measurement. But the point is, you're talking about charity of money. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about chesed. Person doesn't have money. That's why I said, help the convert, help the poor Jews, the miskenim. A person comes to yeshiva. Okay, I'm in yeshiva. No money, no. But a person comes to yeshiva, is a new person. He's afraid, doesn't feel comfortable. Let him feel comfortable in yeshiva. Come on, be in my room. You share daf gemara with him. You help him to understand Torah. You do chesed and kindness. So when you do chesed and kindness, you're not going to be hurt. Yes.
Minimum tzedakah is 30 shekels.
What?
Minimum tzedakah is 30 shekels.
Okay, that's in those dinim. But you can be also chesed, not necessarily tzedakah.
One who is protected from Ayin HaRa. Does that mean he's also protected from giving it?
One is protected from Ayin HaRa.
He also protected from putting it on others. Putting it on other people.
I don't hear what he's saying.
He's protected from Ayin HaRa.
How? By doing chesed?
Does it mean he's also protected from putting it on other people? From other judging other things?
No. He's still not the judge. You can't judge other people.
If you pass the judgment, is that a mitzvah? Is that a good thing?
Sure. Not to judge people is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing.
Like if the judgment comes upon me and the judgment is...
No, judgment comes upon you, you do tshuva, you want to remove. You're a masochist, you want to be hurt. You want to get good things from Hashem.